We're gonna start soon. My cat is like bugging me, so. Are you a little bugger? Yeah. So I'm listening to some music, which I will stop now. And hopefully my cat is not gonna bug me too much. It's like really triggering me. Anyway, today we're gonna be coding. We're gonna continue what I think we were working on last Sunday, which was building a speaker DSP controller. I've got like a speaker DSP board here on my desk. The protocol needs to be reverse engineered a little bit more. I think one of the issues that I'm worried about is that sometimes in this Windows software that comes with the controller, the software resynchronizes and it like kind of starts doing a whole dump of things. So I saw it happen once last week, and I want to catch it. I want to analyze that behavior, and then potentially, if it turns out that we're able to lock up the controller by using our software, I want the agent to be able to fix it automatically. But since it doesn't have like physical access to the board, right, it does need to turn it on and off to reset it. So I've got this little Zigbee, what do you call it, like power plug that you can turn on. I've got like a little Zigbee antenna here. So depending on how crashy this all is, we'll build a tool to give the agent, right? Like the agent needs like nice feedback loops, and so need tools to do feedback loops. If we give it a tool that says like, sniff the traffic, try to blast the controller with commands. If it locks up, use this command to trigger the power, to shortcut the power. So that's kind of my plan. The other thing is, since we're starting, and neither you nor me remember what we did last week, because that's how it goes. The first thing we're going to do is like try to catch to figure out what we did, right? And so thankfully, what is pretty cool is that mcode, the coding agent we used by SourceGraph, actually records all the threads that we had last week and makes them easily available on the web. What this allows us to do is being able to go in and, you know, this is what we did last week, for example, to reverse engineer and sniff the protocol. I don't really remember which tools we built. Oh my God, my cat. Cat meowing is really, really hard for me, so we'll see how far we get. Also, hopefully he's going to shut up soon and just go to sleep. So this is one of the big threads we had last week where we did some protocol analysis. And I know that this thread contains like a lot of what we did. It has like subthreads. So that's going to be interesting to look at as well. Potentially we might need it or not. Here we can see some of these patterns. We don't have the analysis of a resync because I don't think we caught one on stream. I don't think we explained very much about that, but we're going to start. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these transcripts. I don't think there's like an export functionality. This is maybe something I could tell mcode to add. It's really useful. And we're just going to go into ChatGPT and be like, you know, what did we do last week? Which documents are relevant to sniffing the protocol? And I'm going to switch away from O3 because I don't need like too much reasoning in here. Just want a summary. And we're going to start with that. So really useful to kind of have these long transcript because they encode the whole intent of what we were working on, which is, I think, really useful. One thing I should, now that we have like decent video understanding of with Gemini, is just basically feeding back my transcript from the stream as well. For that, I need to split it, but maybe that's something we can do. Since it's experimentation day, that's maybe something we can try out. And since I don't have my recordings on this computer, if we look back at this 6 days ago, what I'm just going to do, you know, like and subscribe. My channel's great. There's like only 4-hour-long videos of nonsense. What I'm going to do is just like, I'm going to just download it. And then I'm going to split it because it's so long, and then we'll just feed it into Gemini and see what happens. I think I also had like Mana's Vibecode me an analysis tool, but I don't remember how far I got with that. Yo, GPT-4o, what's going on? Not sure what's going on here. We're just like gonna restart. All right, summary of last week. So let's have a look at this. We built a complete capture and analysis tool chain. We have a fast capture, record PPI session is the full session capture, record specific operation, guided capture. So this is where I asked the agent to walk me through stuff I would toggle in the proprietary software. Then we have a protocol fuzzer. Interesting. I don't remember that, so it's just like probably is some sonnet craziness. Then analyze it, and all of these are documented into the README. In the README, then I investigated a little bit why my captures weren't working, and Oracle inferences, transaction control, preset directory, live status stream. That's interesting. I don't remember the transaction control. So anyway, we have enough here to get started. So we're going to go into that directory, right? And I kind of want to try out Crush, which is the charm bracelet, coding agent. So I'm going to pull rebase the latest. It's an early alpha. You have to be invited to the alpha. But then you get access to the repo, and What I'm going to do is going to switch away real fast because I do want to use Kimi v2 to do some exploratory analysis. I do need to set up the keys. So I'm starting to learn my lesson about keys. Let's switch away. Let me set up all of this stuff, and hopefully we'll be able to get started then. So I'm going to go into my PPA control, copy my keys. Let's see what this does. And am I able to run this? All right, it seems to be working. So let me just finish this one run, make sure I don't show my keys, and then we can get going. What I'm doing right now is having Crush initialize a Crush MD, which is like yet one more agent MD kind of setting. So we have it all set. I'm going to switch back to my coding screen. We are in PPA control, which is PPA is the name of the protocol, I think. We have then oh, I need to actually install this. So I'm building the latest version because, of course, it's like under active development. We are in PPA control, which is the repo that we were working in. It has created a Crush MD, which is like very similar to the agent MD. And the thing we're going to do now is go back to our OpenAI analysis and tell us like, okay, what are the suggested next actions? Record PPA session, full startup, live metering, quick capture, record specific operation, and then I want to record like a full session. This little write-up here, I think might be interesting to see how far can we push Kimi in terms of understanding, right? Like, it's a really fun model, but it definitely doesn't have like the depth of reasoning that Sonnet has or that O3 has. On the other hand, it's because it's served by Grok, it's really fast. And then maybe that is enough through an agentic loop to get fairly far. So I kind of want to mess with that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create my standard ttemp directory structure, which is where I put just random documents. I'm going to put a document for recap last session, where I just paste, you know, the OpenAI stuff. We're going to start Crush. Crush is so fun. It's so fun. I love it so much. It's really just like a pleasure to kind of work with something that, I don't know, has style. It makes me want to use it all the time, even though it's definitely not as effective as my AMP code stuff. So, but let's see, right? So look at, and then we're going to go into ttemp. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do, right? It's like recap. Recap last session. And tell me what to do. I want to record a long session until the Windows software triggers a full resync of the controller and understand why that might have happened. So really just like kind of my YOLO prompting, you can see how nice it is to have a model that's fairly fast. One thing that is missing here, and it's nice to have it on recording, I think, is I do want to understand why I have this like X1, for example, and I know that this is working in the background, and then, oh, is it working in the background or is it not? Like, I'm not fully sure about that. Sometimes it's like running still, and I don't have these little cyberpunk widgets going on. So we'll see. To record a long session until Windows triggers, use the full session capture script. This will captures everything until you stop it. After recording, analyze PCAP, PPA captures. So tell me more about analyze PPA captures. I want it to be fairly terse on the output because the session is going to be long. What does it do? So again, just like using it as an exploratory system, and what's nice because it's so fast, it allows me to look at it. I don't know how to scroll in the chat. So I'm using page up, page down, right? And then okay, and then I can scroll within a message with the arrow keys, seemingly, or maybe the whole conversation. But that only worked after. So if I focus the chat and then focus back to the editor, okay, now the arrow keys work. They didn't work at first. The script is quite verbose. It runs 8 different analysis types and creates detailed reports. For a long session, you want just the essentials. Create a minimal version, which only outputs the message files, quick analysis, and status codes. Okay, so that's cool. Run this instead. Okay, so create that script, right? And you can see how nice it is to have like a fast model, even if it's like less clever. It's like the iteration speed, which I might not necessarily need here, right? Like because this is not all that interactive, doesn't need all of that much of my feedback, but and here I probably want to have a script that works first try rather than something that I iterate upon, but we'll give it a try. So the first thing I'm going to do is start the Windows software. All right, how do I do that? The one thing that I like about this is also, can you see how it's responsive? Like responsive terminal UIs is just like really fun. So when I scroll out, I start to get this code bar, then I start to get the menu, and then it just like gets really small. So that is also just like a fun thing to do. All right, let me see if we can start this. And let me see if I can trigger a resync before we get too deep into this. So I am here, and then how can I make a resync happen? So I can scroll this. I can like maybe switch presets. I can switch presets. I don't know how I made it happen last time, but maybe we can turn on some things here. So we can see the sync state little thing over here. Oh, see, I made it happen, right? So I'm able to make it happen when I do a copy paste, it seems like, which is interesting. And I had it happen though, just like out of the blue at some point. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happens with this synchronizing, but we can have a look when we're switching patterns. And sometimes it's really slow, right? Like this is, what is going on here? Why is it so much slower than before? Those are the things that make me a tiny little bit worried about, because I want my software to be switching presets to really know what's going on here. So I guess we have enough knowledge now to know that I can trigger this like synchronizing, and it seems to get slower and slower the more often I do it, which is interesting. This time it went fast. So yeah, there's some stuff to analyze here, and I'm going to use Kimi. I have a feeling that after Wild Kimi, either it's going to blow its context window in one fell swoop, which is probably something Crush should happen, should tackle, where if it runs a tool and the output is like millions of tokens, it just like asked me like, oh, this tool call, like maybe not that great. So I'm going to say like run it. I will cause some synchronizes to happen. Maybe I should open the window beforehand, just for fun. The software is already running. No, that's confusing. I don't want to tell the model that. Oh, it needs sudo. All right. Nope. How do I cancel? Okay, tool cancel. There is still like this sudo thing going. I hope that this doesn't destroy the UI. So I'm going to run it by hand. And then what was the command that it used? I should do quick analyze captures your session pcap ng. So let's go do that. We're going to go into PPA control. Z PPA control. We're going to go into the repo. And then there's like quick analyze. Where is that? It's in temp. It ran it from that directory, right? So what does this even look like? Okay, this runs the tool from like 3 directories up. So that's cool. So let's go do this, right? Did it create a directory? It didn't create a directory, right? If I do file that dot slash dot dot that pcap, does that exist? No, it doesn't. How did it manage to go into this directory? Did it delete it after that? Oh, it went into 13. Okay. And then it ran quick analyze, which is there's a quick analyze here. So let's see, captures. I'm going to put a date in the capture name. Capture resync preset change dot pcap ng. Message types, type 6. Oh, this is the analyze, but I do want the recording. See this. So this is maybe where Kimi starts to show its limits. So it does have the TCP dump here. I wonder what the address IP of this device is. It hasn't changed, so that's good. So I need to capture first. I don't think Amcode would have done this mistake, and I think Amcode with Sonnet, like, with Sonnet especially, it would have understood what analyze versus capture is for. So here again, it does like the sudo. Oh, shit, and I quit. So I'm a little bit too uncomfortable with Crush right now, I think, and especially the setup of all of this. I'm going to use Amcode to not struggle too much and focus on building this application, right? So I'm going to call amp. I want to run a quick capture of switching presets and capturing why resynchronization can be short or long and probably eats a lot of tokens. Maybe I should sudo before and then it's able to run that. Or maybe because the scripts need sudo, you can't run them by yourself. See, this is interesting. Of like, I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna go out and I'm just gonna run the thing with sudo. So I'm just gonna do sudo ls. Then this shell's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna go back into amp, paste this, record a session where I switch presets, then analyze. Maybe I should tell it what we did last time. Here's a write-up of our last session. And I'm going to paste the ChatGPT stuff as well. All right, let's see. Let's see what AMP does. And I'll try to get a little bit more comfortable with Crush on a stream where I'm just going fully into experimentation. So run quick capture to reset preset switching session. So it's going to do quick capture of 60 seconds of this. So we'll see, right? So it's recording, quick capture, capture failed, check your, okay, so now it's running it with sudo. A password is required. Okay, I will run this then. Or what could be a way to authenticate with sudo to avoid having this terminal password thing? I mean, not that giving a model sudo is like the best idea necessarily, but all right, so how could I do sudo v? I wonder if, yeah, because I already did, right? And then amp probably is not able to do this. So maybe I will do this guy. Sudo rsd, tcp dump. All right. Then we're going to continue this thread. Is that the right one? Yeah. I added it to sudo rsd. All right, so is it working now? So we're going to do some synchronizing. I think we have a minute. And we're going to copy it and we're going to paste it, which also triggers a resync. And we're going to go switch here. Now it's asking for sudo again. It was then asking for sudo again. Which script was that? Because I think we should have a preset switching pcap now, right? fd find switching. Oh, it didn't even capture it. So paste, switch presets a little bit. Then we're going to do save preset. See, after the save preset, it's really slow. I wonder if there's something there. Right? And I wonder if how long this is going to take and if it's going to time out. I think it is going to time out, right? Like I wish it output a little bit more info. There we go. Captured 828 packets. So yeah, so it's putting it into files, which is good. So it has like some intelligence around not blasting everything with output, but it's just like the output can be pretty long, so store it in files first. Because ultimately I wanted to write like a better script. I wonder why I have to, like, despite me allowing it to run this, it like always asks me. No pcap files found for session. Yeah, it didn't record it, right? Oh, they're here. So now it's like kind of analyzing this whole format. And I might want to ask it to do like a little web application in Go to make it easier for me to visualize that instead of having JQ stuff everywhere. I'm gonna let it run a little bit just so that it gets some sense of how these formats might be useful. And then I'm gonna ask it to build it like a little web app. See, this is, I wonder if it's not blasting my context window. So I wonder if it's going to be able to identify like the time spans and, you know, be reasonably clever about how to approach such a huge dump. And this is where the agent itself, right, like makes a huge difference. If I had done this in Crush, it would have like literally blown the context window in the first try, and then I would have been not able to do anything. Here it like filled it up to 20%, so it probably wasn't all that clever either. But we can see that, right? So there's like 850 plus preset commands in 60 seconds. So so I'm going to do analysis save to preset switching resync analysis. So we're going to open cursor and have a look at this since we want to be involved in here. And then I wonder what the best way to build a visualization application is. I think I'm going to, because I tried HDMX last week, and HDMX for me is a little bit like ORMs. It's like I start, I'm like, yeah, this time it's going to be great. And then I start and it's kind of great. And then I hit a point where it just like fucking annoys me and just makes agents write the wrong code. And I was like, I should have either gone with React right away, or I should have gone with like straight JavaScript, or like something in between. So I wonder if we can, since we're still like a little bit in experimentation mode, it's like in this sub agent, write a serve, write a HTTP front end to the analysis tools that uses Preact plus Zustand plus REST APIs plus template templates. Oh, do we want templates? No, because it's going to put most of the HTML in Preact, right? Let's try it. Plus, if necessary at all, templates. I'm just going to do Go templates. If necessary, Go templates. So that I can also visualize the packets. Furthermore, make it possible to view the markdown files in this repository as HTML to quickly search all the analysis documents you create. Sorry, run this in parallel sub-agents. So we're just going to let free flow while we read the analysis that it did. So let me open this. No, let me open recent. Maybe we still have it in the recents. We don't have it in the recents. No, we do have it in recents. There we go. And the document it created today was resync analysis. Resync analysis. Yeah, let me restart everything just because environment changed. There we go. And all right, so we have ping commands. I can't double click in this, it's annoying. We have the preset directory. We have preset recall, of which we have 301. Then we have the bulk parameter block. So I guess this is the resync data that comes back. I wonder what the transaction control is. Like, that's kind of new to me on how it works. We have 850 plus type 4 packets, but here it just says 31. That's like weird. Continuous preset switching occurs approximately every 200 milliseconds. That's kind of wrong too. So, yeah, I'm curious what this is about. Like, maybe we did a little bit too much. Maybe because we mixed modifying the EQ with also copy pasting the EQ and those kinds of things. So we might have to reanalyze that and see what's happening. So here it's creating this little application. What I'm going to do, I don't know what it's going to look like, right? Like, is it going to do live sniffing? Is it going to do just analyzing finished files? Live sniffing would be kind of cool. And while it's building that, I'm going to go to the bathroom because I drink too much Red Bull. So I'll let you look at this. You'll know more about the software than I will when I come back. And hopefully it's going to be done and we'll be able to have something cool to run. And once I understand this preset switching, what I want to do is like basically build out my command line tool, whatever is left over in this repo. Because at this point, this repo is like so vibed, and it was a repo that I started like before LLMs even started, like a really long time ago. Last time we did a bunch of cleanup, but I don't know what we actually cleaned up. I know I have a couple of command line tools to trigger commands, so that might be something we add to the web UI as well. And actually, this idea of the web UI is pretty cool because we'll be able to hook up our HTML, which we had last time. So let me see if I find the HTML in here. we had this minimal UI HTML here, which, let me see if I can open it. Yeah. And then we'll hook up this, right? Like, because this actually looks relatively decent from a UI perspective. Not that it's great, but I'm no designer, and this is like kind of one of the better looking ones that I have. And we'll hook up these little features here. So reading in the list of presets, allowing us to switch it, setting the master volume, and then doing this. So that will fit in nicely into the REST API that we have. And we'll take it from there after that. Let me actually finish my Red Bull, and then my bladder is going to be full. So it's running in parallel. I should, why don't I update my amp while I'm here? I think they fixed the race condition that I had in Cursor, so I can probably use it in Cursor, which I think has like a little bit of a nicer UI. So we'll see. So see, this is something that I wouldn't have Kimi do necessarily, especially because because it doesn't have like caching on the grop API and has a fairly small context window, I think it will actually be much more expensive than doing it this way. But who knows? I'm trying to think of something that would be interesting to let it run while I'm out, or some other thing that I could start. If someone has an idea of what I could ask Manus to do. Okay, that's new. So they added slides, they added data visualization. That's fun. Maybe we can give it the PCAP and just say, like, can you analyze this? Yeah, let's try that. Let's see how far it gets with that. So I'm going to start a new task. I'm going to say analyze this protocol PCAP file, and then make a fun data visualization out of it. So I think I have to click this maybe? Yeah. So choose output format, slides. Yeah, we'll do slides. Now we'll do a report. Preferred chart. I don't know, man. And then we're just going to attach a bunch of documents, right? So we're going to go into workspaces, and then I think this was on the 13. And no. Oh, and it even asked me here to run something. This was on the, no, it was on the 13. I'm in home manual workspaces. Add web pp UI. Why is it not here? Okay. So we were in PPA control, and then it wrote this into PCAP analysis in Oracle protocol analysis. No, modified. Preset recall analysis. Why does it say modified Sunday? Because they're all modified Sunday. What? And does it tell us which PCAP file that was? Oh, hold on here. Choose local files. So here we do have the PCAP, record PPA session, PCAP files, preset switching sequences. So that's all the... Should we use the JSON file and not have it analyze the... Yeah, let's look at those files a little bit more closely. Preset switching JSON is the decoder protocol in some sense. Then what is timing? This like huge file. Okay. I wonder why the text file is like so much bigger than the JSON, which should ideally contain the same data. right? That's odd. So we'll give it the JSON. And then, well, maybe give it the PCAP as well, the captures. Preset switching PCAP, and then preset switching JSON, L. So yeah, we'll give it the PCAP, and I'll just like curious to see what it does with it, because I'm not even going to give it like a tool to analyze it. I'm just going to give it that. Yeah, I'm going to use these two, right? I'm going to actually give it all of that. All right. I'm purposefully letting it YOLO because I'm curious to see what it will do, right? So if I were to do this for real, I would probably be a little bit more cognizant of what I'm doing here. It doesn't seem to be loading the PCAP files because it maybe doesn't know the type. Let's try again. Wow, my God, why can't I click on this? Oh my God. I'm screwed. There we go. Choose local files. Maybe I just need to re-upload it. Try to see what happens. No. All right. Well, no PCAP files for you. All right. What's our agent doing here? It's like, let's break this into concurrent tasks. I don't know if it's able to like run the server. Like I should have told it to use tmux to do this, because that seems like a problem of it killing plus doing queries at the same time. And it's annoying because I can't broadcast like info to the, hey Niston, how's it going? I can't broadcast like instructions to the subagents at this point, but it'd be nice to tell the subagents like, hey, by the way, use tmux, without having to interrupt all three of them and losing all their context. So that's why I want to give them like a Slack channel tool, which I had Manus create. So maybe that's something which in parallel while this is going, we could look at and turn it into an MCP. The problem was that, why we don't even need an MCP. Actually, yeah, let's start building like a command line, because an MCP is like, you don't need an MCP. You can just call command line tools. Let's like start brainstorming command line tool. That'd be interesting. And that simulates like a Slack coordination thing. So yeah, let's start writing notes. I'm going to open a new cursor. And I'm going to open a new cursor. In which directory I'm going to put these kind of ideas in? I guess we can open Google Lab. How many projects do I have going that I need to close? Add task planning tools. That's maybe a good one. I think that's where I was last Friday. I wonder if AMP knows its own session. Do you know your session ID? Cool. Is that true? Yeah. All right. So this is something I'm curious about. So general instructions. I'm curious also. Actually, let's try another one, which is, what's your session ID? Then start a subagent and have it return its own subthread subsession ID. Okay, what else can you do session-wise and synchronizing with the M code backend? It's like agent reverse engineering. Threads are synced to M code, context window management, abandoning threads, editing messages, synchronization capabilities. Can you retrieve remote threads and thread lists? Also, I'm curious about this ID here. So let's see, it's like 997. So this is 997. And then I have this 439. All right, cool. All right, that's neat. You'll see why I'm asking that. Based on the provided text, here's what can be inferred about retrieving remote threads. The manual does not explicitly mention any CLI commands or API endpoints. Okay. But you do have AMP threads, right? Global options, continue, fork, share, list. And then if I continue, so let's say I continue this dude here, which is a sub-agent thread. Does that work? Oh, yeah. And so what if I run this in a PTY? It still asks me to interrupt, right? So what if I do this? Oops. Cool. Cool. I can retrieve threads. I can retrieve threads and I can store them and they know about each other. Hey, S&C, how's it going? I'm going to have to take a break because I'm starting to be... but I'll be right back. Really curious. I've never done something with Preact because I don't want to have like a full React building chain. So having something that like compiles the GSX in the browser might be an interesting in-between step to do, like standalone apps, yet making it possible to move to React later on. And then at the same time, we're going to start building something that allows sub-agents to synchronize, because that's something I wanted to do anyway last time. I just realized that you can have agents self-inspect what they've been doing, which is really cool. And we're going to experiment with that a little bit as well. I'll be right back. Have fun. All right, so what we're going to do for fun in this other project that I have, in the agent MD, we're going to put in when you start, store your session ID in agent sessions txt. When a sub-agent starts, store the sub-agent session ID in there as well with a description of the sub-agent task. 1.9. When a sub-agent returns, store their session ID and a single summary line. When you hand back control to the user, store your session ID and a summary line with the current date and time. Oops. With the current date and time. Just going to make it a little bit super explicit. I wonder if that works. Let's try it. Start a sub-agent to list interesting files. And if that works, that allows us to basically be like, oh, what did we do last time? And it will like find its agent sessions. And all right, so the sub-agent doesn't know its session ID yet. So we might have to tweak our agent MD to do that. It doesn't have the time. So that's curious too. Damn, I'm out of Red Bull. I want more. Yeah, this is exciting. So as I'm doing more with agents, I'm starting to think more and more about, agents know how agents are supposed to work, or in a certain sense, they know what agents could be like, which is modeling agents after like traditional software development practices, which is a decent approach to building software, right? It's like, I think we shouldn't be focused too much on making agents work like traditional programmers, but it's a good starting point. I think there's like a lot of magic that can be unlocked by saying like, oh, you're a whole team, which also leverage the training corpus on around what teams are, but then you can go even further. Like, for example, when you do debugging and correcting code, I found, at least with earlier models that were like not that clever, telling them about time travel and having like a future developer telling them what the future looks like was a pretty good technique to avoid having them getting confused about instructions. So I still think there's like a lot of magic there. So the sub-agent spawned but doesn't return. So I don't think this is working all that well. So let's go back to the prompting and do some more traditional prompting. And let me also open the Add Task Planning Tools workspace. So do I have that in my list? I don't. Open folder, and this is, what workspace was that in? Can I see it? 7/13, right? Which was my birthday. All right, let's open this. And then, because I'm so lazy, oh, yo, cursor. Oh, man, I hate it when you have a modal open and then something comes in and closes your modal. So update this to show a example format to reinforce this prompt. Yo, show an example. What are you doing? Oh man, this is like the edit mode in Cursor is a little bit weird as well. I don't know, but we can use the tab model. Like, don't sleep on tab models. They're pretty nice. Amp tab is disabled. I want cursor tab. I mean, why not use amp tab? Enable globally. Yeah, what? Yo. Perfect. All right, that was all I wanted. So we're gonna start a new amp, and we're gonna see if it works, right? Like spawn 2 sub agents to find markdown, go files respectively, and report back their findings. Curious to see what that does, and then what is our main thing doing here? It's like I wish I could like YOLO the sub agents to not have to like approve them all the time. So see, it did echo date, so that's much better. Spawning 2 sub agents. Then the sub agents, I hope that they are able to write into the file as well, and hopefully they are like prompted by this kind of stuff. Like maybe this is something I could add to the instructions as well. We'll see. I wonder if sub agents know about the session ID as they start, or if they need like one kick in the butt. The other thing is that it allows sub agents to look into what other sub agents are doing, which I think is pretty cool. I wonder if I configured Kimi. Let me quickly switch so I don't show my credentials. I do have Kimi configured. All right. So we'll see what these sub agents do. What these sub agents do. We're starting to cook a little bit. If I export this to Kimi and I do hello. All right, it does run this. If I do LLM, like if I, so we had this command, right? To retrieve a session. So let's take a longer session that we have in AMP code. Actually, I'm a different AMP code. If I take a thread that we just say capture the preset switching, which is like a little bit of a longer thread, right? And I do fetching it into capture thread txt, right? Invalid thread format. So yeah, of course. So we can have this. Which gives us the capture thread, which is, how many tokens is that? It's 11,000 tokens. What we can do now, LLM professional context temp capture thread. What are, okay, bullet point terse timeline with relevant files from this coding session. We're going to use Kimi. We're going to give it the capture thread, and hopefully this works. So we can have agents analyze threads of other agents pretty quickly by calling this analyze thread command, right? Man, where am I going with this? This is starting to get meta. I really need to make my Pinocchio agentic is one thing. because I want to have like a little bit more control on the API and all of these things. But now we have a way for agents to communicate. So that's interesting. Now we also have in the agent sessions, we do have now at 15:30, at 55:25, the first agent spawned 2 sub-agents. The first sub-agent session ID analyze all the markdown files, and then this, and then at the... So we're going to update the format a little bit in here. So what we're going to do is the format should specify the operation type, agent, sub-agent, start, stop, and should specify that the time should come from the date command. We're going to switch to Sonnet 4. I hope it's not going to write like too much, but it probably will. No, actually, it doesn't even do that. Make it CSV. All right. I don't know how much we should repeat all of this stuff with the date command, but all right, let's try again. Create a bunch of sub-agents to analyze which files we are dealing with. See, it's like having problems killing the server. This is so annoying because I should have told it to run it in tmux. Even though it's in the agent MD, it just like seems to ignore it pretty often. So, so for people joining, what we're building right now. So yeah, Jay, what I'm doing right now, I'm doing 2 things at once. On the one hand, I'm building a DSP controller front end. So we have some Windows software, but a friend of mine wants like a very slick, minimalistic software that looks like this. And I have reverse engineered the protocol, or rather I had like Amcode reverse engineer the protocol last week, or over the last 2 years I've been building this because I've been procrastinating quite a bit. And what I know is that there is some resynchronization things here that I want that take quite long, and I want to be careful when switching presets to make sure that this resynchronization is properly handled by my software. And so what we're building right now is, after having had a first TCP dump, like sniffing what the protocol is on the wire, I have this agent here build a web application, which we're going to look at quite quickly, to help me analyze this stuff as well, and setting up some initial API endpoints to be able to run all of this. So apparently it did, after all, install bun and use preact, which I guess you do need to pre-compile the TSX files. I guess I didn't know that. And whatever, we can deal with that. And however, I did want to like broadcast something to the sub agents as they were going, right? Because I had like 3 sub agents. They were like each trying to run the backend server, and I think not doing that very efficiently, but I couldn't like broadcast something to them. And I kind of want these sub agents to simulate being developers or whatever on Slack and being able to coordinate over Slack, right? And I played with that idea last week, and it's really, really promising. So in another agent here, I'm starting to continue messing with that idea. I know I had 2 Slack simulations already built, and I don't really remember how far we got with it. Um, and it's in general a problem of like being able to build pretty functional software too fast, is that you just like, I at least never really finish it. Um, and as I was playing with that, I suddenly had the idea, oh, well, AMP code stores the threads on the server and they each have a session ID. Do they know their own session ID? And it turns out they do. And because they know their own session ID, they're able to self-introspect, but also like see what other agents are doing while we're working on this. So I just started like rolling with this and like playing a little bit with the idea. And we can see here, it actually didn't have the sub agents return and write. So that's kind of annoying. Because it seems that the general instructions are like not that powerful, right? And overall, like if I start a new session and I explicitly give them now, not just in the agent MD, okay, spawn some sub agents to analyze the repository. Let's see what they do. Because we might want to give them like a tool to do that instead of having them write these files by themselves. Yeah, I think building a tool to record their steps is going to be the proper way to do it, and that's something I had last time, right? It's like I do want to have them do that. One other things that I'm curious about is like, do agents, are they able to carry environment variables from one bash call to the next? That I'm curious about also, how AMP works in this setting. So we're just going to try that, right? And then we'll see like 2 sub agents, like kind of, or like 2 agents working on the same file at once. So set a env variable in a first shell call, then check if it is still set in a follow-up call. All right, so it's not able to do that. Try editing and allowing a .envarc to do that. Don't. I'm going to do this off screen just in case it shows some credentials. So it turns out that even with their env, it's not being executed each time, which is annoying. Yeah, it's really annoying because then that kind of like conflicts with source with AMP code's way of executing commands. So, well, that was a try. The other thing I'm curious about is like, now that this agent CSV is like running this, why are the sub agents not registering? Have the sub, so maybe it's because the sub agent has to store their own session ID. So I think this is because now the instructions have been reformatted to kind of view this on the perspective of the top level operator. And the sub agent has to store their session ID. All right. When you the agent, all right. I'm not familiar with the behavior of mtab. That's why I'm like struggling a little bit. So let's try this again. Now that we've switched the instructions to be, oh, the sub agent has to do it. I think this might help. Oh, that's interesting. VLSI and electronics and communication. I'm actually slowly starting to get into radio because like everything that's electromagnetism was always a big blocker for me. So maybe this time, with the help of LLMs, I'll get past and like understand what an inductor does. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna start this afternoon actually, um, making some flashcards for like a ham radio license. So we'll see. Wish me good luck. Understand what what do you call them in English? The little spools kind of thingies. Anyway, yeah, that's cool. What kind of stuff are you learning right now? All right, let's see if this. I don't think this worked. I don't think this. The sub agent, right? Like it doesn't have its session ID. So now that I changed the prompt to say to address the instruction to the sub agent, I think this will work better. Spawn a bunch of sub agents to analyze the repo. I wonder if I'm not burning too many tokens just doing that. So we have a web application here, right? So let's try it out. Like why is this not running? Port 8080 is already in use. Like that's the stuff that's really annoying when you don't run stuff in tmux. Oh, look at that. So it allows me to visualize or kind of visualize at least the markdown file documents don't work. Some of them work. Why does this not work? Why do some of them work and some of them not? This would be like, this doesn't even do like network calls, right? Why do some of them work and then some don't? I don't know if it was a good idea to do Preact and Zustand. I don't know if that was a good idea as a stack. Let's see if the control panel is a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know if this was all like the best idea in the world to do it this way. So if we run the bun as well, so where is this even running? It's running from Go at the complete process tree top level. All right, so it's killed. And then it says to go into command ppa web static and do bun install and then bun run dev, which it might already be running, and then this even doesn't even like work. I'm highly skeptical of what just happened here. So is bun even running? Doesn't look like it. I don't know if this was the best idea to do this with Preact and bun. I don't know how good of an idea that was. Add DevTools middleware to Zustand. Compile the app. There's syntax errors. Also, the document view only fetches certain documents, it seems. I don't know if we're going down a rabbit hole just because I tried something that I have no experience with. I'm still trying to find a way to do web apps and then quickly getting a prototype with no full build pipeline and then being able to switch to React later on, or if I should just do like even the Preact stuff, it just like seems to have put in like a build pipeline step to rather have a good playbook to do that instead, and just every time doing like the full featured application. Because I know React plus Redux Toolkit is something I'm able to carry forward really, really far. And maybe I should just do that, right? So what we could do is like we could call this an aborted run. I also didn't really specify what I wanted this this thing to be doing, and as such, I ended up with an application that's not really what I wanted. So we'll have to see. Also, it did create a template. Yeah, this is all kind of a mess. Did it even maybe even try to add some HTMX into the mix? Yeah, it did. All right, this is a big boo-boo. Try to mix like two different applications. Because I think it has like HTMX in here. Yeah, when building applications. It's going to leave this out. Use Bootstrap CSS. Unless otherwise indicated. Mistake. Right. Use Bootstrap CSS. The whole HTMX is not a good idea. And I don't even know if the Bootstrap CSS should be put into my generic agent guidelines. Okay, so this finished. Hopefully now we have the proper sub-agent. We don't. This is crazy. Actually, we do, right? Like, oh, they integrated themselves in between here. Interesting, interesting. All right, so it seems that they did their work. Maybe I should do store append a new line to. Oh my God, to. Why is my VI? Oh, it interferes with the tab. That's what. Oh, it like the VI actually reacts with the tab suggestion. That's why I felt off. with their and here the session ID is like kind of T, right? And it's so weird when you have like the muscle memory for one tab model and then you switch and the muscle memory is like all the timings like a little bit different and stuff. That's funny. All right, so this seems to have worked. Example format, always append with agent session CSV. Maybe I should full path to agent sessions PSV. There we go. Oh, come on. You see, it's a tab model. I was like expecting it to fill this back in because that's how the cursor tab model works. Okay, this is interesting. Let's go back to our web application. We're going to give it one more shot and then I'm going to recreate it because I don't think I'll be happy with this layout. And we'll maybe make it a little bit simpler, not ask too much of it. So here, this is the interesting thing. I forgot again to tell it to use tmux. So that's maybe something. Do I mention tmux here? No. Build guidelines, kill process on this port to run a server and do some interaction with it. Use tmux. This makes it very easy to kill a server. Use capture pane to read the output. All right. So hopefully this helps. Gonna copy paste this, put it into this agent. And it's been a pretty rough week for me this week, and I realized my brain's not totally here today. I pushed myself to do at least a stream this week, but it's been so much heavy refactoring and complicated work. Basically refactoring something from some kind of like Ruby sidekick setup to event-driven Redis stream with an excursion that was not very fun into RiverQueue as a job manager, and then like some complicated distributed rate limiting where you have to rate limit Slack endpoints by workspace, by API endpoint, and coordinating like batch jobs to do that in parallel. Like it was really messy, really like took a big toll on my brain. So even today, I'm like, I have a hard time focusing on technical stuff. You can probably tell I'm just like looking at a single agent. I'm not trying to do 5 things in parallel. That's because I'm like burned. So I also have something at like 3:30 p.m. So I'm not be doing this all too long, but I'm happy with this experiment with the session IDs. Like that was pretty fun. It's like have a few sub agents just do a quick little ls look at files and report back. Let's try this again. And we're going to do watch n1 cat agent sessions CSV and see what happens. Quick file exploration with sub-agents. Sub-agents start. I hope that they are going to add something to the file. Yep, there we go. Agent, agent, agent. Exploring Gaze subdirectory. So here they didn't use sub-agent. Whatever. Could maybe add a parent ID. but yeah, so the first one came back, completed exploration. This is pretty cool because this will allow us to well, to track what agents are doing, but also because we're able to retrieve these logs, have them analyze it, right? Because one thing, yeah, this is something to experiment with, for sure. But as I said, my brain is down, so I have ideas for tools on how to build that, but how to do that more elegantly, and I know I can't push through it. I can't do it today. Can't build multiple things at once. And even this front end fixing, I think I realize I like don't have the energy to do it. Well, I guess there's days like that, right? Where you're just not feeling it, even if the AI is doing all the work. And I need to be cognizant of that, my own personal state of like exhaustion. It's a weird mental exhaustion, and I know that I struggle with taking the recovery time needed, where I'm like expected to push as hard as I usually do, instead of maybe actually not writing code for a day. Like that's okay too. It's okay to sometimes not do anything. So that's maybe what I'll do. I'll wait for this front end thing to finish. I'm actually really happy about this session thing, the session ID thing. That is a really powerful unlock, I think, and will allow building some very interesting tooling to resynchronize what agents were doing last time in a pretty automated fashion, right? So actually, why not do it? It's like just a terminal call away. I am, so what was the amp threads continue, right? Was the echo, oh, where is it gone now? Why is my history not syncing the way it used to? So it was this, right? So I can continue a certain thread, and then I can push it through what is this thread about, and let me make sure that I have the Kimi profile, and then let's see what this does. Does this work? OpenAI run streaming inference. That didn't work. TLS bad record. This TLS bad record, I have to figure out what it is about. All right, cool. So this worked. We can do Pinocchio code professional profile Kimi v2. This should fail, because Kimi v2 is not found as a profile. I did that on purpose just to make sure that the flag works. And then I should be able to do this, right? Cool. So what we can do is we can add this as an instruction in here. So if we start a new amp code, you can use the following command to check what a thread was about. And then just edit this. Or any kind of query. Check what we were doing last by leveraging agent sessions.csv. Is it called agent sessions? Yeah. So here it's going to check at previous session activity. Well, that's us, you idiot. So don't check yourself. Previous runs. So this is going to retrieve previous runs and then query what this was about by summarizing the thread. And it does summarize the thread in context of this new work, right? Which in this case is empty, but it is more than just summarizing it in the abstract. Based on the agent sessions and thread analysis, we've been doing comprehensive repository architecture analysis across multiple sessions. The work focused on project reconnaissance. Yeah, of course, right? So this is an interesting technique to keep in mind. And I really should turn Pinocchio into something a little bit more agentic to launch my own sub-agents, because I don't want to burn everything on AMP, and also AMP, I don't have full control over how it works. Not sure what this dude is doing. I suppose that it might be struggling with running the server as usual. So let's go take a look. List files, capture, preset, switching, and resynchronization details. I think that's the one. And then this is the subthread. And want to bet that it's struggling with starting the server? Oh, it just finished. Okay. It's using Docker? Oh, it's using C Island. Okay. Okay, it's running the build. All right, and then I think I can tell my brain just doesn't want to continue on this. So I'm going to stop here, because I realize if I push more, it's going to make it worse last week. So it's still running in the background, right? Like this running in the background is just really an agent killer. Because it will, like, sometimes it will not be able to kill its own process and then start interacting with an old version of it. It's just really weird. And like the document switcher doesn't work. And let me turn on the extensions for Redux. React developer tools, Redux dev tools. And I think that might work with Zustand. Yeah, this is so weird. Why does it work sometimes? Like sometimes it does a doc query and sometimes it doesn't. Right? This is so obscure. Like now it did, and then otherwise it doesn't, and there's like no error messages. All right, this was a weird attempt. I don't think this was like all that super useful. And then we get 400s. We have an event source as well. Yeah, it's still doing HTMX. Like this was all boo-boo. I'm still going to commit it, but also this was boo-boo. And I can't kill the server with Control-C, which is also interesting. And we have a panic handler. All of this is not good. This was a really bad attempt. I went in pretty unstructured, not a good time, and also I think I know why. It's just because I'm not in a good mental. I'm not fresh enough to prompt coherently. So anyway, lesson learned. So this is going to be books, add tons of analysis, and then we're going to add command PPA web, which has binaries in it, I'm sure. It has like these static dist assets, right? So git rm rf git rm cached this, git rm cached. There was a binary in here as well. Yeah, this dude. Anything else we should commit? Go mod crush agent. Those I'll leave for something else. So this is the web application. This is going to be poop. Broken web app. Not worth pursuing. and then go mod, go sum, crush, and agent MD, git ignore, art, update, agent plus git files, and then remove this git commit message here. All right. Well, this wasn't all too fun, but that's stuff that happens. It's pushing some big files. What is this about? I probably committed some crap. I hope it's not going to be like 60 megabytes. It probably is. There must be a binary in there somewhere. I'll clean up another day as well. Let's brute force it. Geez, 40 megabytes of like compressed stuff. Great. All right. I think. Hey, Southside Gypsy. Thanks. I'm sorry that I'm like burnt out this week. This is not as in depth and fun as I wanted, but we learned a little bit. We learned that when I'm tired, I prompt like garbage. We learned that this whole React plus HTMX was a mistake, and then we found out that like agents are actually able to self-introspect their own agent ID and just like do all kinds of things to communicate with each other, which will tackle. I think next week. Next week, I think this like crush at work, which has been going on for a few weeks, is going to be over. I'll have like a little bit more mind space to do all of these things, and I'm going to go enjoy the sun because I haven't gone out in like forever as well. So yeah, have a good weekend, guys, and like and subscribe or whatever people say, and see you. I think next stream's going to be on Tuesday. There might be a chance that I stream tomorrow just because I'll feel like back freshened up. So keep an eye out for that.